What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the craftiest vet performances in recent UFC history. That's right, we're talking about the old fighters, the unks of their divisions, the gatekeepers you could say, that sometimes hold down the fort and sometimes they check that prospect and they send them back, they send them packing, and they hold their spot in the top 15 of their division. These are the fighters we're talking about in today's video. I got one per division in celebration of Jared, 41-year-old prospect, 41-year-old fucking Cannoneer. I don't know why people want him at the top of the sport, but I mean, fair play to him. I'm happy for him, but like, we need new contenders. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on any rant. This is positive. We're going to be positive maxing in today's video, starting off with Flyweight, going all the way up to the Blobweight division. And yeah, let's get underway, starting off with the Flyweight. We've got Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott is my representative for the unks of Flyweight. There's no one else that qualifies. So even if Tim Elliott doesn't really fraud check that many prospects, like Makayev did beat him. But like, I don't know, he beat Tagirul and Bekov, he beat Victor Altamirano, like he beat Sumadoji, I don't know. He doesn't really beat that many prospects, but he's the only old fighter, like Alex Perez you could say, but I wouldn't exactly call beating Nicolau a fraud check or something. Like Nicolau lost before that. So I'd say Tim Elliott is the guy at Flyweight who checks those prospects from time to time, who just crafty vets his way with his goofy style to a fucking split decision win. So I respect it, Tim Elliott. Keep it up. Good stuff, mate. Anyway, Bantamweight division, we got Robert Font. Rob Font's the guy I've gone with here, mostly because he fights like a bit of an old head. Like, there's some other older guys, like Aldo is getting up there, but he doesn't really fight like an old head. Like, you don't look at Aldo and be like, yeah, that's an old man. Like, he fights like a normal, fucking, very talented, good striker. Font also strikes very well, but you kind of get the vibe that Font's more old, you know? But like, he's done it a few times. He just did it against Kyler Phillips last fight. He had a couple losses before that. A couple fights before that, though, he did it to Adrian Yanez. Like, this dude does occasionally have just crazy performances where he just checks the prospect. KO'd Yanez in the first. School tuned up Kyler Phillips in round 2 and 3. And we're about to see if he can do it again, because he's booked to fight Jean Matsumoto this weekend at UFC Seattle. And he's like a plus 180 underdog, or plus 160 underdog, something like that. So we're going to see if he can hold down the fort for the Bantamweight division. But Robert Font is the guy I've gone with. Because, yeah, again, a lot of these, you'll see it's the same thing. They lose the first round. Same with Cannoneer. Same with Rob Font. Same with like a Neil Magny. Alright, they lose the first round. And they manage to just occasionally come back and get random fluke wins. Or not flukes, but just expose them in the later rounds and expose the gas tank. That's a common theme that you'll see here. Anyway, good stuff, Rob Font. Let's see if he can turn back another prospect this weekend. But Featherweight division, I've gone with Edson Barboza. Barboza, he is clinging on to that number 15 spot in the rankings. He pulled out of his fight against Steve Garcia, which was going to be a check if he could hold down that gate. I was a bit worried for him in that one, to be honest. I thought he was going to get KO'd. But Edson Barboza, who's he done it to? He did it to Sadiq Youssef, and then tried to do it to Lerone Murphy. He wasn't able to crafty vet his way to that win there, but, you know, he gets his occasional fraud checkings. Edson Barboza, I wouldn't say there's many other options, though, to be honest. Like, you couldn't call Holloway a fucking old head, like, he's 33, or whatever. But, like, I don't know, Josh Emmett, again, none of these guys, none of them are really fighting that many prospects. Like, if Calvin Kattar had beat Zalal, maybe I could have gone with him. But, yeah, not many of these really older guys are fighting that many of the prospects. So, it is what it is. But Edson Barboza, I'd say, is a good representative for the Featherweight division. Just crafty vet Max in his way with that. Again, Sadiq Youssef comeback. Got absolutely 10-8'd in round 1. Came back and won. Crazy stuff. Anyway, lightweight division. Let's move on. Diego Ferreira. Carlos Diego Ferreira is the guy that I've gone with. Mostly because there's not really anyone in the top 15 that's like I would classify as like an unk. At the time that they fought like Beneil Dariush when he fought Gamrot, but that's like not even that big of an age gap. Like Gaethje, Fiziev, Poirier, BSD, these are all options, but I wouldn't call any of these guys gatekeepers. Like, they're all established top 5 title challengers. But Diego Ferreira is like a top 15 gatekeeper that just lost to Grant Dawson, but he occasionally has those check-ins where he beats up and randomly finishes Mateusz Robecki and just looks phenomenal. That's the thing that you got with like guys like Diego Ferreira, guys like Barboza. Most of the time, it's really difficult to pick them in fights because sometimes they look mid as fuck And that's why I don't usually like, same with Cannonier, I don't want to fucking pick a 50-year-old to win a fight. I'm going to have to do it in the GFL coming up, but that's picking between two 50-year-olds, so that's fine. But yeah, like, I just don't normally, like, I just pick younger fighters to win via athleticism, and it usually works, but not in some cases, and Diego Ferreira is definitely a guy who can provide a bit of a fraud checking from time to time. Anyway, welterweight division, let's move on. I would say welterweight, Neil Magny's a good choice. You got other older guys, Gilbert Burns, Wonderboy Thompson, these guys are some of the ones who are starting to fight these up-and-comers. You know, Wonderboy fighting Buck. He turned back guys like Kevin Holland. But I wouldn't have... Holland was not a prospect at that stage. Holland was just a guy that swindled his way into a fucking top 10 opponent. But he does get his wins over those up-and-coming guys. Wonderboy, he's a good choice too. But Magny's the guy I've gone with because he is so up and down. Like, he will get dominated and look awful and remind you that he's shit in most of his fights. But then there's the occasional fight where he still looks shit but somehow wins. And you're like, how am I supposed to predict this? How am I supposed to predict that fucking Mike Malott is going to beat him up for 2 rounds and then get randomly stopped with 10 seconds to go? Like, I'm not predicting that. How am I supposed to predict that? I'm not. That's retarded. So yeah, Neil Magny's the guy. You know, Carlos Prates, my guy, KO'd him. You know, you ain't passing that fraud checking. Normally Magny goes 1 for 1. But Prates put an end to that one. He sent him 0-2 in his last 2. So yeah, Magny, tough guy, grizzled vet, you know. Who's he fighting next? No one even knows. Probably fucking Brian Battle, let's be honest, in the Apex. Probably wins that. But anyway, Neil Magny, good stuff, mate. Keep it up. Next up, though, middleweight division. I got 2 fighters for middleweight. First one is Jared Cannonier. You know, this was the inspiration for this video. The guy who won the main event this weekend against Gregory Rodriguez, and he gets it done. And he gets it done via getting beaten up in round 1, getting almost stopped, getting dropped twice, and then he just says, you know what, I'm just going to not be hurt anymore, my chin's going to be fine, and I'm going to put the cardio on you and beat you up in the 2nd and 3rd, and get a stoppage in the 4th. And it's like, alright, fair play, mate. Like, Cannonier, it's weird, bro. I don't know, like, he loses to Amavov, loses to Baralio. He doesn't have that many, like, prospects on his record, I would say, that he's beat recently. Like, Amavov and Baralio were both sort of the prospects, and they both got past him. But yeah, Robocop this weekend, he got him out of there. Round 4, stoppage, good stuff, I guess, for Cannonier. Next up, though, we got Jack Hermansson. Jack Hermansson's another guy, basically did the Cannonier before Cannonier in terms of fighting a big power punch, a dangerous guy, big hitter, physically imposing dude in Joe Pyfer, and was getting beaten up. Well, not beaten up, but just losing the first 2 based on Pyfer just hitting too hard for him to do anything. And then Hermansson eventually, Pyfer just couldn't hold up that pace the whole time. And Hermansson's like, you know what? I kind of feel like I'm going to win now. And he just starts taking him down, starts vet maxing, you know, doing the stuff, pumping the jab, looking good on the feet. And we haven't seen him since, you know. Jack Hermansson gets his yearly fucking prospect fraud check in, and then he dips for a year and comes back. So I'm looking forward to my yearly Hermansson fight, probably around April or May this year. And then we'll see him back in July of 2026. Anyway, light heavyweight division. Next up, we got Anthony Lionheart Smith. Look, is Smith completely washed? Yes. But is he the only guy I could really think of that fits this bill? Also, yes. Because, like, Blachowicz is the old guy at light heavyweight, but he hasn't really fought any prospects. Like, Jan Blachowicz has fought, like, Rakic and Pereira and Ankalaev. He hasn't really fought these prospects. He hasn't really had the opportunity to fraud check these guys. But I don't know. But Anthony Smith has. He loses to most of them, but he beats guys like the Ryan Spans, the Vitor Petrinos. Who knows? Maybe flukes a fucking win over Ming Yang Zhang. We'll see what happens. I don't know, kid. That's a question for Tuesday. But yeah, Anthony Lionheart Smith probably going to get slept in his retirement fight, unfortunately for him. But on paper, he will always be the GOAT light heavyweight fraud checker, and he'll keep doing it from till the end of time. Anyway, last up though, heavyweight division. I've kept this video short. It's too late here. I want to go to bed. But Marcin Tybura is a great. I'd love to fight him. Marcin Tybura. He fraud checks. That's what he does. He fraud checks the occasional prospect. You know, he did it to what's his name, Janata Janice. That was a good performance in his last time out. And yeah, that's the guy I could think of for heavyweight. Anyway, that'll do it, guys. Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Quick video today. wrap it up in just about 10 minutes on the dot. I got 5 seconds to go. Like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Twitter, Left Lane MMA. See you in the next one, and goodbye.